Do you enjoy chilling tales and terrifying stories? Then step into the darkness with Cryptwink HQ. Watch more spine-tingling horror stories now. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon before it's too late. This happened in the summer of 2021. I was traveling alone for work, moving across small towns in Ohio and Pennsylvania to shoot commercial photography for local real estate companies. I'm not going to say exactly which town this happened in, because part of me still wonders. This was during a time when I was trying to save money. So instead of booking a hotel every night, I opted for Airbnbs. I always filtered for entire places to myself, and I'd read all the reviews before booking anything. I'm not an idiot. I know how dangerous it can be to stay in someone's home, especially as a solo traveler. But this place had nearly 5 stars, over 40 reviews, and not a single red flag. It was listed as a cozy basement studio with private entry, and the pictures made it look rustic but clean. Private access, a small kitchenette, a bed, and even a little work desk. For $65 a night, it looked like a steal. Looking back, the price should have been my first warning. I pulled into the neighborhood a little after 5 p.m. It was one of those quiet towns where every house looks the same. Wide lawns, American flags, and not a single person outside. The property was a 2-story home with a beige vinyl siding and a gravel driveway. The host, a man named Greg, had messaged me the code to the side door and told me to park around back. There was a little concrete path that led down to a white door with a keypad, the entrance to the basement studio. I remember the moment I stepped inside. It felt cold, not just from the AC, but like weirdly cold. The kind that touches your bones. The studio looked exactly like the photos, clean, neatly arranged, except it was dead silent, like the kind of silence that feels heavy. You know what I mean. It felt like I wasn't alone, even though no one else was supposed to be in there. I brushed it off. I was tired from driving all day and had a deadline to meet for editing some shots. So I unpacked, set up my laptop on the desk, and got to work. About 2 hours in, I heard a sound above me. Footsteps. Slow ones. I figured it was just Greg walking around upstairs. But then, the footsteps stopped, directly above where I was sitting. I looked up. Silence. Then, another creak, like someone shifting their weight. I decided to ignore it. People live in houses. They walk around. It was just weird because it felt like whoever was up there was trying to be quiet, but failing. Around 9 p.m., I got hungry and decided to heat up some frozen burritos I had brought. The kitchenette didn't have a stove, but there was a microwave. As I was standing in front of it, I heard the doorknob on the inside stairwell jiggle. I froze. Let me explain. The door to the upstairs was on the far side of the basement, painted white with a deadbolt and a knob. It was supposed to stay locked, and Greg had said in the listing that the basement was completely private. But the knob turned, then jiggled, like someone was testing it from the other side. I backed away slowly. Then, silence again. I waited. Heart pounding. I didn't hear footsteps walking away, or anything. Just nothing. So I walked over to the door, slowly. I pressed my ear to it and listened. I swear I heard someone breathing. But when I knocked and said, "Hello," the sound stopped. I went back to the main room and sent Greg a message on the Airbnb app. I said, "Hey, just heard something at the interior door. Everything okay upstairs?" He responded a minute later. "Yep, sorry, just me. Had to check something in the fuse box. Let me know if you need anything." I stared at that message for a while. There was no fuse box in the basement. I had looked around earlier. Everything was sealed, drywall, no visible panels. But again, didn't want to overreact. But I couldn't sleep that night. Around 1 a.m., I was still wide awake, scrolling my phone in bed with the lights off. That's when I saw the hallway motion light turn on. There was a short hallway from the bedroom area to the little bathroom, and it had a ceiling sensor light. The only way it would turn on was movement. I sat up, holding my breath, and watched from the bed. No one was there. But then it turned off. 10 seconds later, it turned on again. This time I got out of bed and grabbed the pocket knife I kept in my bag. I didn't carry anything bigger. Never thought I'd need to. I crept to the hallway, heart racing, and flipped the main light switch on. Nothing. The bathroom door was open. No one inside. I checked the door leading upstairs again. Still locked. Dot. And yet I knew someone had been down there. I slept with the knife in my hand, on top of the covers, all the lights on. The next morning, I decided to check out early. I packed everything up by 7 a.m. and texted Greg to say I had an emergency job and needed to leave. No response. I didn't care. I just wanted out. But when I went to leave, the keypad on the exterior door, I punched in the code again. Nothing. It gave a little red flash, like the code was wrong. I tried it 3 more times. Same thing. I started to panic. I opened the Airbnb app to check the message thread and confirm the code. But suddenly, all of Greg's messages were gone. Like the thread had been deleted. Then I noticed something worse. The Wi-Fi was gone. There was no signal. Not just no Wi-Fi. No cell service either. Just a red SOS in the corner of my phone. I stood there, in the middle of the studio, feeling my whole body go cold. I was trapped. I went to the interior door again and tried it. Locked. I banged on it. Nothing. No answer. I started shouting, "Hey, let me out!" No response. I was full on panicking now. I looked around for anything I could use to pry the door or the window open. But the windows were the narrow kind, near the ceiling, reinforced with metal bars. You know, like the ones in storm shelters. And then I heard it again. Footsteps from the ceiling. Pacing back and forth, then stopping, then the sound of something being dragged. I don't know what it was. A chair? A body? My heart was beating so loud I could barely hear. I started banging on the walls, screaming at the top of my lungs. That's when the door to the stairs slowly unlocked. I heard the deadbolt click. I ran and backed up, holding the knife in front of me. The door opened just a crack. Then Greg's face appeared in the gap. He smiled. "You okay down here?" I didn't say anything, just stared. He looked around the room like he was inspecting something, then said, "Sorry, the keypad sometimes gets stuck. I'll let you out now. Just wait a sec." A few seconds later, I heard the back exterior door unlock. I didn't wait. I ran. I burst out of the basement and sprinted to my car, still clutching the knife, not even bothering to pack the rest of my stuff. I just drove. I didn't stop until I was 2 towns over. I reported the listing to Airbnb, but they said since the communication was deleted and I had no evidence of being locked in, there wasn't much they could do. The listing disappeared a few days later. But I'll never forget his face, that smile, like he knew what he was doing. Like this wasn't the first time, and maybe it wouldn't have been the last.